The inflation index for the year 1989 relative to the year 1970 was 3.56, indicating that, on average, for each dollar spent in 1970 for goods, $3.56 had to be spent for the same goods in 1989. So first of all, kudos to anyone who's listening who was alive in 1989, and double kudos for all of us who are alive in 1970. And what this is telling us really is that if we know the price in 1970, we would just have to multiply by 3.56 to get the price in 1989. And so now they tell us if the price of the Model K mixer increased precisely according to the inflation index, what was the price of the mixer in 1970? So if we say that X is the price in 1970, then 3.56x is the price in 1989. So statement number 1 tells us the price of the mixer was $102.40 more in 1989 than in 1970. So if we take the price in 1989 and subtract the price in 1970, we get $102.40. Well, this is an equation for x that we could solve for x very easily. Now, of course, we're not going to actually do that solution because this is data sufficiency. It's enough to know that we could solve the equation. So because we could solve the equation, this statement by itself is sufficient. Now, forget about statement number 1 entirely. Statement number 2 tells us the price of the mixer in 1989 was $142.40. So 3.56x equals $142.40. Well, again, this is another equation. We don't have to solve it right here, but we know that we could solve it. We would be able to solve for x, and that would give us the price in 1970. So this statement by itself is also sufficient. Statement number 1 is sufficient. Statement number 2 is sufficient. Answer choice D.